All right, Mr. Bruni, congratulations on passing your CMT.
Thanks, JC. It's quite the journey.
How's it feel?
Good. It kind of feels the same, honestly.
So you just took it, right? It is April of 2019. I took mine in 2006 and 07. I actually completed it in the spring of 2008. And back then, there wasn't like today where it's just like one book or a series of books that has all the curriculum. Back then, there would be like, okay, guys, you need to read all of these. John Murphy, Edwards and McGee, you know, the Pring books, all that stuff. How do you feel? Do you feel you had an advantage over the way it was back in the day, or you think it's harder this time? What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny you mention that because 5 or 6 years ago when I first started studying technical analysis, freshman year of college, they had the old curriculum. It was a list of books, and that's essentially where I started.
Nice.
I started with John Murphy's technical analysis of stock trends, read about candlesticks, and then I was off, opened my first brokerage account, started swing trading options, blew that account up, and that's kind of where I started my journey. But
sounds familiar.
Yeah. So in terms of the curriculum being more compressed, I think it's extremely helpful from the exam perspective because you kind of narrow down what you need to know. It's kind of laid out for you in one place. You're not skipping around going to different books trying to figure out, is this going to be tested? Is this going to be focused on more?
Yeah.
So from a test taking perspective, definitely helps. But from a pure knowledge perspective, I think it's still valuable for people to go back and read those books because they were recommended for a reason, right? You can't fit all of that knowledge into one 700 or 800 page book for the exam, but that doesn't mean the knowledge isn't worth reading. So I definitely recommend that people go back and read those anyway because I'm always revisiting them, looking back to what the old timers were doing, seeing what works, what doesn't, and trying to build my own tool belt out of that.
So you started reading the books just on your own, kudos to you by the way, and then you sat down officially for the exam and went over the new curriculum. So now that you've gone through all of that, what are your next steps? What are you learning? What are you reading? What's next?
Just staying engaged with the community, that's extremely important because people are always coming up with new methods. They're trying to, especially nowadays, bring more science to the art of technical analysis and kind of bridge that gap. So in terms of forward-looking information, that's how you stay up to date. You're reading constantly, you're networking with people, going to events, but I think it's also valuable to keep the knowledge that you learned from those that came before us and build upon that. Because today we have different technology, different tools that they didn't necessarily have, so they took the baton as far as they could take it, and now it's our job to, take that handoff and run with it.
That's a good way to put it. I had never really thought of it like that, but it's so true. So now that you are, the wise old man in the room, big veteran, big CMT now, there's people out there listening. I get asked all the time, JC, should I take my CMT? What do you think? And, I would never tell someone not to do it, right? But somebody out there who's interested in going through the CMT program, now that you have done it, what is your advice to them, regardless of age, young or older?
So think of it as an investment in yourself. It can be a bit overwhelming. You're thinking there's 3 exams, I have to get work experience, I have to invest all this time and money in studying the material, but especially at my age, the best investment I can make is in myself, in learning skills that are going to compound over time and help me develop a career that I'm happy with and that I can succeed in. So regardless of where you are in your career journey or life journey, if you're interested in technical analysis, there's no better place to get started because you have the curriculum that teaches you the knowledge, then you have the network and community that will help you implement that in the real world, get connected, get a job, do other things outside of just reading the book and then trying to implement it yourself. Making that connection between what the book says and what the real world is, having that community helps bridge that gap and makes you a better investor over time.
Good advice, Mr. Bruns. Congratulations.
Thanks, JC.